Drew, you've flipped 300 desert squares. You've funded over 150 flips. Right now, you're working on 6 or 7 subdivides. How did you get into land, and how did you get so deep into land? I mean, you've gone pretty hard. How long has it taken you to build up that type of resume?
Yeah, I started 4 years ago and I had a pretty slow start. So I started summer of 2020 and I didn't really know if the business model worked. So I didn't jump in with 2 feet. I think in the first 6 months, I bought 3 properties. And then at the very end of that first 6 month period, I had sold one or two. And that's when I realized, wait a second, this actually works. I bought for 1,000, sold for 6,000. And it breaks your brain because I was making about 5K a month at the time from my day job. When you make 5K from a land deal that took you like 5 hours, it wrecks you forever, right?
Yeah.
And then I'm like, okay, this is a legitimate business model. How can I pour more time and more money into it to get a better return? And for me, the answer was to dump more money into the land.com listings because that was the bottleneck. And in the second 6 months, I think I sold somewhere between 30 to 50 properties. And then from there, I I started hiring a team. I got the first business, Land of the Free. I got that down to 5 hours a week. And I did everything that Land Geek says to do, but I discovered something really interesting. Number one is when you have so much free time, you become like unfulfilled in a way, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
So I discovered that you can actually be unhappy and like super rich at the same time with a ton of free time. And then secondly, I discovered that just because my business was taking up what's 5 out of 40? Is that 1/8 or something? Yeah.
Yeah.
Just because you have a business taking up 12% of your work week, it was still taking up 60% of my brain, right?
Mhm.
And so I felt like I really couldn't move on to bigger projects until I moved on totally, right? So I sold all the assets, I sold the brand, sold all the notes, and I'm completely out of that business model now. And now I'm only doing funding higher dollar flips and then funding subdivides and then also operating my own subdivides.
Oh, wow. Okay. So that was a fairly big change. When did you sell that brand and that business?
I sold a franchise of it last fall, September of last year. And then myself and the guy who bought the franchise were approached by another buyer, and both of us sold the brand and our assets to him. And now he controls and does all of it. And he also took the employees as well.
Wonderful.
That was just last month.
Wow. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
congratulations. That's awesome.